Parliament. It so happened that, as he said, that we did the engineering together. That was way back in 1980. So you can imagine that in 2022-23, we are almost 65, 66. So last year was my actually year of retirement. 65 in Tata's, you would retire if you're a director. You will go up to 65, otherwise 60. So I was retiring last year, and I had this opportunity to finish it. म्हणजे last ball ला धोनी like sixer मारावे असं I had this opportunity to finish it with a very beautiful project, which is the Parliament building of New India. So I was very blessed, and I was very fortunate to do this. This project indeed was, I just want to give you some concept here that I think India is changing character-wise right now. I'm not sure what would interest you, not interest you. I'll just put my story across. But whatever you dislike, blame me for that. Whatever you like, praise India for that. Okay. India is changing in its character. India mindset, the psyche is very different now. The national spirit, Rashtra Bhakti is at the highest within the Indian society at this point of time. I think the able leadership of the Prime Minister today, Mr. Modi, is driving that spirit, is driving that emotion across India, right? And there are several projects that happen, and this is one of them. There are several projects that happen which actually take you to that ethos or take you into that flow. And this whole Parliament building project also has been of that character or of that nature. And that's what, drove construction of this project. Many people ask me, how do you manage to do this project in 24, 26 months? The story that we know about India is that everything is delayed, and it's not wrong. आता पुण्यात मी जिथे राहतो, next door to me could be a flyover which is delayed for 5 years, and you just keep wondering that why this is happening. And while that happens, how does this happen in such a short possible time? And two forces, as I say. One is this afad janashakti, the psyche of the people, the current enthusiasm, tempo, the emotion that people have for any national project. And with that zeal or with that attitude, when people get committed, it's very different. म्हणजे बऱ्याच वेळेला मला हा प्रोजेक्ट करताना people were so hardworking. They didn't look at time, they didn't look at COVID, they didn't look at many things. तर मला ते वेडात मराठे वीर दौडले सात असं गाणं हे प्रोजेक्ट करताना बऱ्याच वेळा आठवायचं की people were emotionally so driven ki there was nothing that could stop them. So that was one. And the second thing, so that's why I put these people who constructed as salute to them, that those people really worked relentlessly, without any break, without any fear, just focused with one force, one mind, that this is for my nation, this is my first duty, this is my prime duty, and that's what I must do. And I salute these people because they worked relentlessly throughout the period of COVID. And the driving force behind them, that is the Prime Minister Modi, correct? And why I say this, because Mr. Modi, this is the photo taken when he came for the foundation ceremony. And as you can see, he's wearing mask. Even the priests are wearing masks. This was, I think, October, November 2020. October, November 2020. And the COVID was in India June, July, August 20. Correct? That's the time the COVID was there. And that was the first wave of COVID that had hit India. And everyone had gone for complete mask, social distancing, mask operations, etc. That time this puja was performed. And at this point, he was there for this puja. And we had just about mobilized. If you look at his facial expression, म्हणजे जो भाव त्यांच्या चेहऱ्यावर होता आणि ज्या म्हणजे ज्या मनोवृत्तीने ते होते, इट वॉज लाईक समर्पण, इट वॉज लाईक कम्प्लिटली कमिटेड टू दिस कॉज, राईट. देर इज नो अदर एक्सप्रेशन ऑन हिज फेस, यू नो, that someone who's doing his duty with a full commitment to the nation, and that is it that I'm doing. Yajna karma karava, tasa. He was in front of there, all of us. And I think that the first interaction with the Prime Minister, which we all had, my engineers, myself, our chairman was there, Mr. Ratan Tata was there, all of us who were there at that time, we were driven by that emotion. We were driven by that, force that it practically, induced in us, and that really drove the entire alignment. So it's like you have. You want to keep it open? You can keep it open. That this great alignment, this great sense of commitment, more than commitment, even समर्पण केल्याची वृत्ती, आणि एक आपण राष्ट्रासाठी पवित्र कार्य करतोय, ही प्रखर राष्ट्रभक्ती त्यांनी निर्माण केली, आणि त्याच्यामुळे everybody was so aligned to this project that a person like me, although I was heading the entire project, I had to do no much effort. Everybody was working, I was just leading the team, and that's about it.
You've been too kind.
No, that's the reality, yes.
कारण हे संसद भवन compared to existing old आता old म्हणायला पाहिजे, कारण नवीन ठिकाणी आता ओपन झालंय. So is it right next to it? आणि दुसरं सेंट्रल विस्टा प्रोजेक्ट आणि संसद भवन हे दोन्ही गोष्टी एका वेळेला ऐकल्या होत्या, आणि नंतर मग सेंट्रल विस्टाबद्दल फारसं काही ऐकलं नाही, पण संसद भवनबद्दल जास्ती न्यूज येत होती. So if you can put that in perspective.
I'll explain. I have that slide in front. So this is the drone photo of the old building, which is now called Samvidhan Bhavan. Correct? Yeah. So it was earlier Sansad Bhavan, which is called Samvidhan Bhavan. That is this one, and this is the new one. So actually, this is the plot. If you see the diamond shape, this is the plot. This was the old building, and this was kind of vacant, and there were some utilities there. And after construction, we have taken this view from the drone, correct? So this is a drone photo. So they are so next to each other. In fact, this is something that interconnects both the buildings, right? So this is the gate for the old building, and this is one of the gates for the new building. And the new building is some kind of triangular building. You can see things. I'll explain this more. So this was like next to each other, and it had its own challenge as well, but we will talk about it. But it really looks nice and beautiful now. This is the real photo. This is not computer graphics, or this is not architects, to be image, right? So this is what it is, and I also feel very happy because you see Delhi so green, correct? Yes. Yeah. So you asked me about Central Vista. So let me explain. See, Delhi is known, correct, for Lutyens Delhi, the central part, which was built by the British, and the architect was the Lutyens, who built that, who designed that part, and that's the most beautiful part of Delhi, which is at the central part, and this whole thing is in that zone there. So if you see, on the left-hand side here, so this is Rashtrapati Bhavan, as you see, and this is where you have the India Gate, correct? So you have India Gate here, you have Rashtrapati Bhavan here, and this is the connecting road, correct? Which was known as Rajpath. Many times you must have crossed this. So everything around this has been, the Lutyens Delhi, and all, you have North Block, South Block here, then you have Parliament Building, then you have Secretariats here, Shastri Bhavan and all of that, and you have all this War Memorial, this side, all that. Now this entire part, which was Lutyens Delhi, is being reconstructed, correct? So first of all, it was like 100-year-old construction. It needs to be anyway redone now because it's very old. And second is, I think India wants to do it even better than what it was there, correct? So they want to make it more beautiful, they want to make it more attractive and smart looking. So the entire program of changing this whole thing, so first was rebuild this road, then second is rebuild the secretariats, build also the parliament. So this is one of the projects. What we did, this old building and the new building is one of the projects, and then there is this library, and so this whole thing is parliament complex, correct? And we just did one building, correct? There are projects happening here. This project is already done. This construction of or reconstruction of that road, etc. And it's looking day by day even more beautiful. Look at the Prime Minister's mindset. He did the renovation of that entire road, and instead of Rajpath, now it is being called Kartavya Path, correct? So he actually moved it, So this is not for the royalty, but this is for doing the duty, correct? And therefore it is changed to Kartavya Path, correct? And even the PM residence, which was earlier known as 7 Racecourse Road, is now Racecourse Road is Lok Kalyan Marg. So it is moved to 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, correct? So the premises remain the same. So the whole psyche and approach to this whole thing is different. And the entire project, which would be maybe 20-25,000 crores, is called the Central Vista project. And Parliament building project is just one part of it, but the most important part of it. So that's why it has its own prominence. Lots of people, as you said, they get, they use it that, we thought you were working on Central Vista, so Central Vista is Parliament, but that's not true. It's a bigger, program, much bigger program, correct? Yeah.
So architecturally, what was the now guiding principle? I mean, the old Luton Delhi had that old architecture.
Yes.
And they were using the stone and, the kind of, whatever shapes.
Yes.
It was not exactly Mughal, it was partly Rajasthan, partly this. So what was the design theme for architecturally to either fit or contrast with what was there?
No, I think what they want to do is, they don't want to go away from the stone, the red and the white stone.
Yeah.
They don't want to, because they will never pull down the old building.
Right.
They will also not pull down some of the other buildings, which are heritage value buildings, right? So it blends with those buildings, Even the new building, that is, so in the height, in its bands, of the red and white, it matches the old building, correct? But it then encompasses the contemporary science, technology, art of India, and everything, and which I'll talk about. But architecturally, the entire program is done by one architect, which is this Bimal Patel, HCP, and it is blending with the old systems completely.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Now, just to take you forward on this, what Shirish asked, that what is it in terms of size, dimensions, correct? Yeah. So on that side, you see the old building, and the old building by all means is beautiful, correct? No? It's round structure. It's got open spaces. It's got good heritage value there. It houses Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and many other things, and the central hall. Yeah. And if you see, this is the new building. It's much more dense and more packed, as you can see, because it has to handle more capacity. It also needs to be equipped with many other things, correct? So it's much more dense, more packed, and functionally fairly leveraged, I would say. Okay. If you look at the old building, the capacity was, our capacity is 39,000 square meters. This is the floor area. Here the capacity is 65,000, so roughly we are going double here, correct? The Lok Sabha seats 550, now they are 672. What are installed is 672. They can be expanded to 768. And the arrangement is such that you can also do a double session, joint session, by which you can take that 768 to actually 888. Yeah, so that's how that goes. Rajya Sabha moves to 384. Central Hall, there are many halls now where you can do meetings and where you can do other dignitary hosting. So that gets to about 1600. And these are the galleries where people can go and see the proceedings of the parliament. So you have public galleries, you have media galleries, so gallery capacities are somewhat similar. So actually, as the population, we are the most populous country now, right? India is the most populous country. So your number of, and I think it will go for rearrangement of the constituencies. So they would have more members elected. They would require a larger number of seats. If you have seen the earlier building, it was quite difficult to really say. Suppose some people are sitting, then somebody has to get in. So somebody has to really make people move, and then only one can get in. It cannot get in that simply. So it's a beautiful building. Functionally, it has been difficult now to accommodate the number of people that we need to accommodate there. Functionally, this is therefore enhanced. It's of course more modern, more electronics and stuff like that. Another thing that I remember, I must tell you, that this building actually was not constructed as the Parliament building for India. This was constructed as the Council Hall by the British people, right? And this was constructed in 1921, they started construction. And 1926 or 27, they finished the construction of the old building. Coincidence is such that exactly after 100 years, we started construction of this building, 2021. Although it was given in 2020, there were some court cases and all that, and we could start work in February 2021, exactly after 100 years, right? Yeah. That building, we went to see construction of that building there, and these are very large domes, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So I wanted to understand how they have made the arrangement for holding such large domes, So I went to see those domes there in that building, me and my engineers, and there we find lots of steel structure. But the beauty is we found stamp of Tata Iron and Steel Company. Yeah. And as a Tata, I was so thrilled. I said, this is like wonderful. 100 years ago, something was constructed and it has steel that was given by Tisco. Now it's called Tata Steel, but it is given by Tisco that time. So I made the photo, I sent it to Tata Steel MD there. I got some discount on the steel. Yeah. So that's what it is. I just take opportunity to explaining this to you now. Yeah. So this triangular building, these are, ceremonial entrances. The three apex ends of the triangle, you have three very beautiful ceremonial entrances, like a Mahadwar, Mandiracha kasa Mahadwar asata, like a Mahadwar. Yeah. And these are public entrances. These three are public entrances. Correct. This is you get now. Let me remember this. This is on this side. So this is Rajya Sabha. This is Lok Sabha, and this is the central hall that we have. Correct. Sorry, this is Lok Sabha. This is central hall. This is Lok Sabha. This is Rajya Sabha. Okay. Yeah. These are the three arrangements here. This public entrances lead. These are art galleries here. These are art galleries here. They lead to a central hall here, okay? And the central hall is like 28 meters tall. It's like a church atrium kind of stuff. And it is embedded with strong Indian history and culture, correct? And it's the most beautiful place. You got marble flooring, you got very tall columns going, you got some golden, roof there. And I'll show you some of these photographs. And so this is Constitution Hall. There's a copy of Constitution kept here. These are the art galleries. This is Lok Sabha, this is the Rajya Sabha, and this is the kind of open courtyard or central hall kind of thing. And then you have dining areas here. On these sides, you have the offices, correct? So you have 5, 5, 10. So 10 10, 10. So 30 on a floor, 4 such floors, 120 offices, typically, correct? That's how it is. So that's how this has been organized. These are open galleries and all of that, correct? I'll show you some of these things, correct? But very nicely designed, very nicely embedded with Indian art and culture, and something that is worth seeing anytime you ever go. Yeah, you need my support. I'm more than happy to see whether I can get you a gate pass. You need to tell me a little bit in advance, and you can go and see this. Yeah. So just to explain the building layout, on the ground floor, as you can imagine, there are all utilities there. You know, so you have power supplies and UPS and media control rooms and all of that. Upper ground is where you actually, from the ground, you walk some steps and you come to the upper ground. On the upper ground, then you have the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, the Central Hall. So this is the main functional kind of thing. Yeah. Like we have used your basement, they have nicely used their basement as well, right? Yeah. So then you go to first floor. You got all these big committee rooms. So here you get all these committee rooms. Committee rooms in the sense. So you typically see that the president of a country is here, prime minister is here. You got 2 flags behind, and then people who can 30, 40 people who can sit next in a row with them and all that. Those kind of rooms. So you got 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 rooms. In between also you have some. So 9, 10 rooms on that. And the second floor is all staff offices and stuff like that. Correct. So that's how this is organized. So most important floor is upper ground and the first floor as far as the functioning is concerned. This is for utilities and this is for offices. Correct. Yeah. Okay.
So in this, I guess that's where some of the Indian influence and all that will be obvious.
Yeah. So
the way it's designed and implemented, right? Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha.
Absolutely right. So you know this. We inherited some of these things from the parliament systems that came from British people, right? So we have this green and the red, correct? The Commons is green and the upper house is red and all of that, right? So we have had these colors traditionally, and these are the colors used here as well, correct? They are not being done away with. Right? The only thing what has been done now very nicely is that the green is converted to the peacock green, correct? So the whole theme of the Lok Sabha is peacock. Peacock happens to be our national bird as well, right? So the whole theme is peacock here, and this is done on the theme of peacock, correct? These are again actual photographs of the work that is done here, right? So this is the top view of some part. So when you enter, this is what you see, correct? So this is the entrance, correct? So these are those seats. First of all, this is a paperless parliament. So everything is on the tablets here, and those tablets are fixed here. These are the seats here. Yeah. Now, if I just show you this wall, correct? No, is something out of bluish green kind of a marble, correct? If you look at the roof is also more piskasasta. That is the design there. Yeah. The carpets also have the motif, which is again more on the pisasa. And I'll show you some more images of this. This is when actually previous photos. So this is the speaker area. This is where the speaker sits. So this is the speaker area. So I'll show you the photo from the speaker desk. So when you see it from the speaker desk, so you are now looking towards. So earlier photo was taken from here. So now I'm looking at that. So even the windows, there's a lot of natural light. Sustainability has been used very properly, and all the screens are again of peacock, pictures there or jalis there, and so even these elements are matching the peacock aspect here. So if you see this, if I just say, so this is that green wall on which a very large wooden Ashok chakra is there. This is the carpet, as you can see, it goes on the peacock theme. Those are the grills or the jalis, those go on to that peacock theme again. the green marble wall, the engraved furniture, which is again with peacock theme, correct? And of course, it's a paperless parliament. So it's green, but it's converted to now
Peacock.
yeah, peacock as a national bird theme here. And the same thing has been done in Rajya Sabha. Again, Rajya Sabha was red, so now it goes to lotus, correct? No? Now, lotus is national flower as well. Don't relate lotus to reds. Okay, it's national flower as well, right? So it goes through that, correct? And it's again very beautifully done. So, same sequence, as you enter, this is what you see. The red stone wall, correct, the entire red carpets, you know, and even the chhat that upon lotus, it is like, lotus arrangement there. You know, if you see it from here, you see it red, completely those benches, you know, the jalis are also, you know, the red color one, here the lotus shaped ones. You know, so actually when this, and you know, this is a presentation, it looks even more better on this, and in reality it looks very different, and it's like massive, you know. So and you see this full red around it. So honestly, another एक आठवण सांगायची म्हणजे there was this discussion going on की याचं उद्घाटन कधी करायचं, आणि of course that question comes from PM's office की याचं उद्घाटन केव्हा करायचं आहे, कसं करायचं आहे, and all that discussion was going on. 30 मार्चच्या सुमारास बिल्डिंग तयार झाली होती. So we had called PM to see the building on 30th March. I personally took him around, showed the building. And then the discussion was going on, hey, keva karya? What is the right day to do this, right? And so the secretary, who's the urban development secretary, so he asked, well, if you guys have some suggestions, you do, correct? And माझा आणि एक engineer colleague होता, Ranjit म्हणून. So Ranjit and I, we were here, and that time when I saw this, so मला ते सावरकरांचं जयोस्तुते गाणं आठवलं, आणि जयोस्तुतेमध्ये ते कडवं आहे की गालावरच्या कुसुमी किंवा कुसुमांच्या गाली स्वतंत्रते भगवती विलसते तीच तू लाली. हे जे रेड कलर आणि त्याचे मॅग्नॅनिमिटी आणि हे बघून आय रिमेंबर्ड दॅट सॉन्ग. आणि मी त्याला म्हटलं आयदर दिस सॉन्ग शुड बी प्लेड हिअर ऑर इट शुड बी डन. सावरकरांची जयंती आहे. Actually, I didn't know that. So ह्या माहिती होतं, रणजितला माहिती होतं सावरकर. So he said, Savarkar Jayanti is also there. Why don't you suggest this? मी काय असले वाटत. But it so happened that that day it got inaugurated. Yeah, it so happened. Yeah. So आणि आत्ता जे लास्ट जे झालं, म्हणजे आत्ता जे पहिला सेशन झाला, जेव्हा उद्घाटन झालं तेव्हा हे गाणं त्यांनी नाही केलं, पण जेव्हा लास्ट सेशन झाला तर तेव्हा त्यांनी बँडवर गाणं त्यांनी प्ले केलं, कळलं की नाही. तेव्हा मी माझ्या पत्नीला म्हणलो, बघ माझी आयडिया सोडली त्यांनी. But it looks magnificent. It looks outstanding. When you go there, you know, I can't show this very properly here. It's so outstandingly different, you know. So again, just to explain, I think these are the colors and that's the arrangement that is done. The architect has done his job very, very well, yeah? And he's done outstandingly good job here actually. Full credit goes to him. Yeah. I talked to you about the, yeah? You wanted to ask something?
नाही लाईट कमी केलं ना ते जास्त जस्ट यू डू जस्ट गेट इट डाऊन या सगळे हां अगदी बघ यू कॅन कंट्रोल दॅट. नाही ओके
You just need to see Vinayak and the presentation.
You can. If you want to take it out, I think there is light here. So.
पण विनायक दिसणार नाही.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
दिसतंय.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
This is
Just want to ask you about this Constitution Hall. Why name Constitution Hall आणि
Yeah.
significance काय?
Yeah. So I told you, no, की त्याच्यामध्ये central hall आहे. So let me show this to you. Okay. So see the whole. If you remember, I told you that there is this center place, right? And the whole height is about 28 meters, so it goes all the way from bottom to the top. There's nothing in between, right? And it is actually to show the connect that we have with the past and the India art and culture. Now, at the Heze, what we see, the roof, this is the roof. So first of all, the triangle se je chhat hai, the chhata there is this central light, natural light coming in. Right? So this is that natural light that comes in, and it looks very beautiful because it just flows in, naturally through this, glass stuff. Yeah. Around that, this is the roof, and that roof is golden, shining gold. It's in brass, but shining gold, and it has got the Tara Mandal constellation of stars, which depicts the sky of 26 January 1950.
Oh.
When we adopted the constitution. Yeah, the constitution was, I think, completed in November 49 or something, and it was formally adopted by Indian government. So that in memory of that, Akashapriji Grahasthiti. So that has been depicted on this. So that's there. So there's a relevance of this. But when you stand there and the lower floor is all Makrana marble, you just look at this whole thing, and it's very well lit because of the flowing, light there. So it's like amazing, you just get and it's like way up there, tall, So if you have seen, I think some of the old churches that you must have seen in Europe, so they do a wonderful job. They have very tall structures and they have very bright, well lit windows and all that. So it looks outstandingly different. Of course, has windows that go around it, correct? So that's that.
Question.
Yes.
How tall are those pillars?
Those are about 24 meters, all the way from bottom to the top. Each one of them, yes. 24.
Is it just concrete or there is?
The concrete with stone clad. The concrete with stone clad. So they are stone clad. At very high levels, we have done different treatment because we don't want any risk of stone damaging it. But it's stone clad.
Delhi is in an earthquake zone also, right? So
Delhi is seismic zone 4.
Yeah.
And this whole building has been considered actually seismic zone 5.
Okay.
So all the stone is actually bolted to the concrete. So this whole columns, those go up. They are very slender actually. They are like diameter wise, they would be about 1600 or something like that, But they go all the way with 1.6 dia, but they go all the way to 24 meter, 26 meter height. So their verticality and all of it, ovality is very important. And then they are clad by the stones, which is bolted to that structure. Yeah. So it was a complex thing to do that, but yes, that's how it is. And looks beautiful because of that. There is this, Makrana floor. So imagine that we have a triangular shape, and there is this whole Makrana marble. And on that you have this pendulum, which is from that the top that I showed, the lit window. From there you have this pendulum. This is focal pendulum. Okay. Now what it demonstrates is it proves that the Earth is rotating about its own axis. Correct. That's the science behind it. Correct. And the one circle gets completed based on the latitude at which you are, correct? So for example, on the North Pole, it will take exact 24 hours. On the poles, and on the equator, it will take infinite time. So for Delhi, it takes 52 hours. So the marking is for about 52 hours. So it's just bringing science into this, correct? Yeah. If you have more questions, go to Google. Okay, so but that's that. And what you see behind here is actually a capsule. So you're just seeing a window of the capsule, and there you have this table here. This is the base of the table. You can see this table here, in which you have the copy of the Constitution, and you have digital copy this side, digital copy that side. So you can flip on the digital and you can read the Constitution there as you require. But center, you have the paper copy of the Constitution kept there. And that's why it's called Constitution Hall, because you keep the Constitution there and you, yeah.
Original copy.
Not original. They will keep the original. To keep the original, they will have to do a nitrogen controlled environment into that box there.
Of course.
Correct? So we were debating at that time whether we should do it now or not. So we said that we will allow 1 year because a lot of things still go plus minus, teething troubles, etc., etc. So after 1 year, then we will do that table. The table has the arrangement to fill nitrogen gas and keep it inert so that the pages don't get disturbed. So that's that, correct? Yes. Okay. Now you can see the view, some part view. Actually, it's very difficult to capture. So this is that focal pendulum. This is that marble floor. These are the tall columns. Those go up. We are seeing only half the columns here. This is the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the shloka that comes from our Upanishad about universe is the family, correct? So that's what is here, correct? And as I said, that this is the, I'll show you some photographs here. This is. The aspect here is that these are individual windows here. And from the left to right, I forget the number of windows, but they are, I think, 24 or something. The entire history of how India has been, the mother of democracy, correct? Has been, right from Vedic times, how people had participation in administration, all the way to the current times. It's all is shown across into that thing, correct? You also have the Shivaji and the Ashtapradhan and all of that concepts being talked about there, correct? So that's what is about this. I talked about the courtyard.
Earlier
So,
you mentioned that.
so courtyard is the open space in the. So you had this. I showed you Lok Sabha, I showed you Rajya Sabha, I showed you the central triangle, and then you have this courtyard. The other third part of it. So in the courtyard, you have this. So these are the trees we were asked to preserve by Mr. Modi, that you cannot disturb these trees during the entire construction. They were there. There are people trees and there's a banyan tree and people tree. Again, this being the national tree, right? We were told that you cannot do this. So we have to practically protect this all through, correct? And do the entire construction. And what you see here is, this is the open space, circular space. You have dining area, you have a library here, you have another dining area, then you have kitchen and dining. So this is a kind of a recreation, library, functional space that's been organized around this. And what you see, this is that window, which is you saw in that Constitution Hall. This is where the light flows in, and on top of that you have the national emblem, correct? The lion capital, which goes on top. That lion capital itself is about 9 tons in weight, as you can imagine, and it's like 26 foot high.
Yeah, I had read about that, how heavy it is and
how heavy.
lifting it there. And
Yes. So it was taken in pieces. It was put together in pieces. But it looks very beautiful there. It's again in bronze, so it shines beautifully there, and that's what goes there. See, these are actually the photographs which we had taken around 30th of March. It got inaugurated, as I said, on 28th of May, and it got into first session was
September, right?
19th September.
Special session.
Special session. So these photos, in fact, are a little old, and they are now even more. Furniture all has been put, and everything has been put. This is the library. Now there are curtains and everything. It looks even more beautiful. I'm just going to run through now, Shirish.
Yeah, a few slides inside.
Yes, okay, yeah. So this is the library. This is the waiting lounge for the members of the parliament. This is MP lounge. Full furniture is yet to come that time. So this is the MP lounge. This is a minister room.
Yeah.
Just a minute, let me explain this.
Okay.
But in this 26 months, I just want to tell you that we have to give this also. We have to give this lamp also. We have to put this clock also. We have to put this frame also.
Wow.
It's not only construct. We got to soft furnish the whole thing. Correct? Everything. Like they will just walk in. That's it. Correct? And that's why it was kind of challenging. But it happened. Correct? We started in February and it happened by March end. We were ready. Correct? No, just got inaugurated. You were asking.
It must be logistical, very complex nightmare with a lot of dependencies.
I have some of these challenges and all that. So I think
Yeah,
first
I think I had a question about this overall project magnitude because.
Yeah, so so it's massive, and how are we doing on time? Just check out because I keep talking about it. We are okay, right?
Yeah, we are okay.
We are okay now.
Yeah.
So it's massive in a way, and it's like if I just have to give comparisons, like 175,000 cubic meters of concrete, correct now. Now, how do I explain that to you in some kind of relevance? Yeah? So this is like possibly doing 10 to 12 very high-rise buildings. Very high-rise means more than 40-meter tall buildings, right? So that kind of a concrete there, yeah. Now, just want to say this, that an average building will take about 10,000, 12,000 cubic meter of concrete, correct, yeah. And if I have to do this building in 24 months, I have to first finish the concreting in 12 months. So if I have to do 175,000 in 12 months, I have to do more than 15,000 a month. So it means to construct one mid-rise building every month. That kind of concrete one has to pour there, right? So that kind of thing. 80,000 square meters of, you asked me about the stone, that stone cladding itself. And for seismic zone 5, where I need to bolt the stone to the concrete wall. And concrete wall not necessarily will come like this. It will have some millimeters of variation, so you will manage variation, you will do all of that, correct? But 80,000 square meters of, Mumbai Made, American consulate also is stone cladding. If you go and see the American consulate building, stone cladding is there. That stone cladding took 2.5 years, and the building is nothing compared to this size, correct? Whereas this is, that stone cladding would be maybe 20,000, 1/4 of this, correct? And one of our engineers had done that, so you were saying, how are you going to do this in, next 6 months, but it could be done, And then there is so much of refrigeration. You can see the electronics on that side, 6,500 multimedia devices. Then you have 3,500 internet IP address devices, correct? No, 350 VPNs, doing So fully loaded electronically, bespoke, very contemporary and modern building here. Huge.
There must be so many challenges, right? Because this was in heart of Delhi, while government is functioning.
Yeah.
All the rules and regulations.
Yeah, very true.
And the complexity, looking at this.
Very true, very true. We had, as I said, we had these COVID, etc. I'll explain. Huh? So first of all, it was, as you said, Shirish, it was next to the old parliament. Old parliament is to do its functioning as well. You cannot tell them that, you stop working because we're doing this construction. So you need to first barricade, and you need to barricade that by, putting soundproof, vertical tall barriers. So these are those soundproof vertical tall barriers that we have to put. We also have to put lots of vibration monitors onto the old building, because the old building is heritage building. You cannot damage that building. You could be facing a lot of, law action. So that had to be protected. So vibration monitors were there. We would monitor that continuously. The building was attracting a lot of publicity, good, because it's a national building, but there's also criticism. So why are we doing this? Why is it necessary? And all of that. You would create pollution, you would create damage to ecology here, damage to society, etc., etc. So we had to monitor a lot of pollution also, and it's in central part of Delhi. So we actually were doing a lot of pollution monitoring because of construction. So we had boards like this, at the site. Then we would have this at Connaught Place. Then we would have this at India Gate. So we would say, look at our score versus what is at Connaught Place, what is at other places. So you would see that we are not doing anything worse. We are possibly equal or better. Correct? So continuous monitoring, and this was like 24/7 all throughout the period. Correct. Huge excavation, 40 lakh cubic meters of soil had to be excavated. All of this, is in the central part of Delhi, and you cannot do this during the daytime. You have to do this moving out, etc., in the night, Even the site, as you saw the first picture, the site is so tight, there's no room for logistics there. There's nothing I can do. I can't even mix the concrete there. So I'm 9 kilometers away from mixing concrete, cutting, bending steel, everything. I have to move it from 9 kilometers to this place and do the construction there, correct? So it was a huge, challenging, logistics wise. And we used to bring, I remember, we used to bring very heavy steel, those reinforcement jalis, and big cranes, and we will lower them and then we'll put the concrete. It's like, you just can't do anything at site. In a way that helped, because if you were doing at site, it would take more time. If you are doing it remotely, then you are doing like a mechano set, You're bringing like a Lego set, you are assembling at site, So in a way that helped, correct? This was there. As you can see, it was all steel at a point of time, because it's seismic zone 5 and requires that kind of strength and requires that. Most of the steel was 32 mm dia, so it was like complex working. We had to source the stone going to the quarry. It was all Sar Mathura and Rajasthan, correct? And the stone has to be of proper quality, so we would go actually into the quarry, look at the stone, look at the right color, take the architect. Architects are the most fussy people I've seen in life. So they would say, this is reject, that is reject, this is not acceptable. So one would go and do all of this. And actually so some of them are my engineers who are actually living in Rajasthan, living in the sites, and they have done this, right?
Did you end up staying in Delhi for 2 years just to manage it?
Almost, yeah. The first year till 22, so I told you, 21 we started construction. Till 22 July, I was the managing director. So I had many other things, correct? And so I would go 2 days a week, to Delhi. In July 22, because 65, I got retired. And promptly I got call from our group chairman, Chandrasekharan. He said that go back to the project. And now that you have retired, stay there. So, and it became, and then I said, sir, why? He said, Vinayak, you don't know, PMO has called and you just have to do it, correct? So I said to my wife, can I do this? So she said, take it as a national job and do it, please go ahead. So we did that, but the last 1 year, Monday to Saturday, Sunday I'll come home. She would ask me a question, why are you coming even on Sunday? So Monday to Saturday I would work there, Sunday I'll come home, then again go back. So that's how the last 1 year has been, so I'm doing this.
Question, at the peak, how many people were working on this project?
So we had on an average, and maximum number that we went was about 5,400 or something, correct? Yeah. If I say that, when we were doing, let's say, concreting, there were different kind of people. When we were doing, let's say, interiors, there were different kind of people. So people kept on changing, correct? But the peak we had about 5,300, 5,400, and that was when we were doing concreting and stonework, correct? So in the middle of the project, right? That's how that happened.
And
Average, see, on an average, if you put it, in the 2 years that we worked, 32,000 people must have worked at site, correct? In that period of 2 years, correct? So as I said, some people come, finish their job and go, and then carpenters come, and then masons come, and then plumbers come, and so if you count the entries of people in the labor register, they were about 32,000, correct? And if you look at the entire ecosystem, Because let's say carpet is not woven at site. Carpet is woven somewhere else, correct? Same thing, furniture is made in Navi Mumbai, for example. Now, if you look at those people, then totally 72,000, means like 32 outside and 40 outside. So 72,000 people that we know have worked on doing this project, correct? Yes. So in a way, 72,000 people got employed into doing this project, correct? So, no casualty, zero casualty. Yeah, there were some injuries though, but nothing fatal, first of all, and nothing which is lost time injury also, correct? So that for which you have shut the site or anything, LTI as you call it, that is also not.
That's credit.
Yeah, that's creative. I completely agree.
Oh yeah, that's very creative for a large project.
Very large, and you're doing it with speed. You're pushing people. Correct? You're putting people working day and night. Yes.
So this was done entirely by Tata Projects?
This was done entirely by Tata Projects. Means, see, when we do the project, we are the main contractor. Correct? We would hire people, correct, subcontractors. So we had the furniture contractor. The name is Narsi, for example. So he came from Navi Mumbai. As he's really good. Really good means like he must be having about 60 odd CNC machines on which they would do the cutting. He literally can print 70, 80 doors a day. Door frame, door panels, he can do 70, 80. CNC cut, put to this and get it done. Correct? So such a large capacity. Correct? And again I'm saying the India character-wise is changing because we have not seen such large projects in India so far, but in the last 5-10 years, if you see, India is doing 30 metros at a time in all country put together. I mean, Pune is having 4 lines parallelly. Bombay is running 3 lines parallelly, construction-wise, correct? So is happening in, let's say, Lucknow and Jaipur and, all the places. So it's like massive projects right now, and there's an ecosystem which is being built right now, right? So it's getting to scale, and when such a large populous country gets to scale, I think very different capacities are required, right? So possibly I think what China must have gone through in 90s, correct? No? I think India is possibly going through that kind of infrastructure build now, and hats off to this our Prime Minister today. Yeah, means like. I must tell you, I told you about this 30th of March. We called him and we took him around, correct? So he came to Lok Sabha. I showed you the pictures of Lok Sabha, right? And there were 4 of us, Prime Minister, I was there, then Secretary Manoj Joshi, and Speaker Om Birla. We 4 taking the round. So he's telling me the speaker's table is not yet that imposing as it should be because he has to control all the members. He has to control the members there. And it needs to be enhanced, this should be done, that should be done. So now I'm defending my work. This is our natural tendency, that you defend your work. So he said, no sir, it is like this, and maybe the light is less, maybe the light is low. He said, no, when I'm telling you, I have experience of this place, correct? Now, I was thinking, reflecting on it, that honestly, they would have so much of experience of functioning of a Lok Sabha. We look at it as a chamber, yeah? But one who sits in that office and one who gets the functioning done through that office, he would know every element of that office, right? And he was literally from one table to another table. Later on when I met him one, I said, like Sachin Tendulkar, वो जाके pitch ठोक के देखता है ना, वैसे you were so, your expertise was so visible there.
So thorough in small things.
But very, very committed person, correct? And associated with that, I must tell you this also, that visit happened, and if you're taping, don't send it to Mr. Modi, because I don't want his wrath. So
Let's stop.
No, don't stop. That's okay. So that time, I thought, he has taken 1.5 hours, 2 hours, we went on around, we showed everything to him. And Mr. Modi does not have one word of appreciation for us, correct? He is only telling this needs to be rectified, that needs to be rectified, this has to be done, that has to be done. And I said, कि यार कितना कष्ट किया साहब ने एक स्माइल कुछ नहीं. I said very curt boss है, a very curt person, ऐसा कैसे, what this thing. I was a little disappointed, to be honest with you, and it happened. And I have never seen in his 2-3 visits that he made that he had anything like, any expression other than just telling what needs to be done, etc. Then at the end of the project, I requested his office. I was completing and I was saying bye-bye to the project and coming. So I requested his office, can I get a meeting with Mr. Modi? I just want to take his blessings, I've seen him. And thinking in my mind, he didn't even appreciate small things. And to my good fortune, I got a meeting, correct? And he was kind enough to accept the meeting. And it was in the evening. What happened? I don't know.
No, I think the battery.
I think the mic stopped.
Mic stop.
Mic stop?
Battery.
Maybe the battery is on.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, no problem. I can.
Yeah, it's okay. Carry on.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Shirish, you can put on the lights.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, lights are not with the presentation there still. So, so I got the meeting and I was, now you see, you go and meet such a big man, Prime Minister, and that too, you think that he's not going to appreciate and all that, right? But this man was so kind and so courteous, you cannot believe. He received me in his office at home. He didn't discuss project. He said, you have done a wonderful job. I think it was so difficult to do this. With all the appreciation that I was looking for the hard work that we had done, it came from him. Then he asked me about my family, my daughters, my son-in-laws, where they are, what they do. Then he told me what memories you have, why don't you write a book. I mean, he was so personal, so warm and so affectionate. And that's what I realized, that at work he's like a boss, strict boss. But when it's with him as personal, he is a very warm person. And I then realized that, I said that as a boss, you are also Vinayak, some bit like that, correct? When you're a task guy, you would take tasks, you're not doing anything. And so he's not at all, nakli kya psychiatric. He's really a genuine, committed person, correct? And that's what one feels so great about him, and having seen so closely, that how can at that level man get committed to every work like this and yet keep a personal connect when it is required. Outstanding person. Really, we are fortunate that we have a committed Prime Minister, correct? Yeah, we are very committed, yes.
I'm sure throughout the project, his support, whether he was coming or not, must have helped to make sure that there's
As I told you, I'll show you some photos and we'll talk about it. So I was telling you this workers, doing a lot of stonework there, lifting. I just want to just complete the last one. Sure. Just saying this, that this is all stone, correct? No? Now this is no joint here. Huh? The stone is cut like this, correct?
Oh.
The architect won't allow us to put a joint there, correct? The stone is cut in a L shape. Huh? Okay, you can just imagine. And then you got to manage inventory of such stones. You got to make sure that such stones come in time, because if these two stones don't come, the rest of the work stops. Correct? Yeah. So you just got to make sure, and the concrete behind, not necessarily it will be like 0-0 finish. It will have its own, natural human errors, right? So all of this, these are stone cut pieces, correct? So these are stone jalis, and they're like on each face there are 26 of them. So 3 sides means you have 78 running around this like this. Huh? So putting these together, getting this stone was a kind of a huge task.
So Vinayak, I have an interesting question. Delhi has a pigeon problem.
Yes.
Did you have to design around pigeons, hiding and shitting and creating all problems all over?
So that open courtyard, Delhi has 2 problems, pigeon and the monkeys.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So the open courtyard has the thing, correct? Steel wire net, which will restrict the birds coming in. Correct. And these places are such, these carving is such that the pigeon cannot be in there. Some of these areas, there are those, you get those plastic,
Spikes, yeah.
by which you can stop the pigeon sitting there, right? So, but you're absolutely right.
अजून एक प्रश्न होता.
Yeah.
हा म्हणजे टिपिकल सिलिकॉन व्हॅलीतला प्रश्न म्हणता येईल. कारण हे सगळं करायला प्रोजेक्ट मॅनेजमेंटची प्रचंड गरज असणार आणि त्याच्याकरता तुम्ही काही वेगळी सॉफ्टवेअर्स वापरली का किंवा सॉफ्टवेअर टूल सेट साधारण काय वापरले?
आम्ही खरं सांगायचं तर प्रायमावेराच वापरला. कम्प्लीट काम सगळं आम्ही प्रायमावर केलं आमच्या प्लॅनिंग इंजिनियर्सनी. आणि the entire output from Primavera we were taking into, we have a company built system called as Last Planner system, which is out of lean methodology for construction. And Last Planner मध्ये काय की you take the month of Primavera, the work that is to be done, but you extract that month from Primavera task wise 3 months before. Yeah. So the last planner is the planner who is at the site. The first planner is the planner who's on the Primavera, but the last planner is the planner on the site. So the last planner looks at this month's extract. म्हणजे आज समजा आपल्याला ऑगस्टचं प्लॅनिंग करतोय आपण. So ऑगस्टच्या आधी 3 महिने he will extract that plan and he would make sure that whatever is required for August is being sourced or not, correct, at site, correct, inventory wise, etc., etc. So the Primavera at a level and the scheduling which we would do through the last planner schedule, these coupled we did this, correct, yeah. And we used as we said, we used technology to really make this more like an assembly rather than construction at site. For example, now the roof that you have, the roof is massive, diameter wise, you can imagine, it's like a huge diameter. Now, how do you make that roof? The roof has no support in between, right? It's only like a saucer sitting on the side columns, right? Now, how do you make this whole roof stay there? And that has got these shapes of, Moracha Pankha's shape and Lotus shape, and these are all panels. They need to be acoustically balanced, correct? No? So acoustically balanced, they are double panel, then you got insulation in between and all of that. So they are not like simple panels, right? And they need to be put there. Now, the entire roof needs to be hanging. And Judge said I had gone to see that disco story I told you. So here when we were designing, we used the 3D, engine, correct? No? Revit or whatever. And we did the complete 3D mapping of how the hanging structure should be, and to the last minute, correct now. And so there is this BIM software, which is what the architects use now. So on the BIM, this whole 3D modeling was done. Each and every component was identified, correct. त्याच्यामध्ये light सुद्धा असे hanging आहे. Now the light has to be horizontal to the ground, correct now. But the roof is like this curved. So the light arrangement and the curvature is not like one radius, no, it's like changing, correct? No? And it's double curvature, it's curving this way and curving that way. So all this was resolved on a 3D imaging, and each element was extracted, fabricated outside, and nut bolted at the site. You can't keep building there because you don't have time. So everything was, using technology that was done.
Question.
Yeah.
As you were speaking about sourcing, during while this was happening, I think the biggest thing happening elsewhere in the world was the global supply chain issues.
Yes.
A lot of this material, I think, was domestic supply, stone, steel.
Everything, yes.
But what percent of it did you have to source globally? Is it from outside the Indian market, which wasn't produced domestically, and what were the issues that you had?
Everything other than some Cisco switches and some of those electronics that will come, but that also came from Indian entities in India, but they would be global, this thing. So everything has been sourced within India, correct? Within India, everything. Yeah, everything is within India, right? And I think these global guys, like Cisco switches are there, correct? Or some lights are coming from some different entities, they are assembled in India. Let's say some of these are Philips and some of those things. They fairly happen on time, correct? Because they are like globally established system, But getting the carpet in time, carpet is huge, like all around the place now. Getting the stone cut, as I told you, the intricacies in stone is that, you have those L angles, and then you have some of those are those semicircular, the stone cladding on that columns, correct? So these shapes are very different. These shapes have to be done. And now more the SKUs in the supply chain, more complex the problem of supply chain, right? Because SKU wise, you've got to manage the sequence, right? So it was difficult, but again, I think software has helped you today, and the last planner system through Planner that actually helped as well.
Yeah, the same extension of what you asked. Did you have to compete with foreign construction companies when you got this tender or this contract?
No, I think this tender was.
Was there a restriction that the foreigners cannot fill the tender?
I don't think there was any restriction there, but we competed only with Indian parties. Larsen Toubro was there and Shampoo was there.
Yeah.
We did not have. Actually, in construction business, it's very difficult to see foreign entities compete, because of the manpower intensive aspect of it and things like that. So, it's like even in other projects, I did Bandavalli ceiling. I didn't see foreign entities coming so much in. Yeah, somebody is asking a
I
question.
just wanted to comment that I don't think I would trust any foreigners to build this building.
No, they weren't. Why not?
Just from my perspective, I don't think you have a good idea either.
No, it's a
Especially not China, right?
No, China is a different discussion, correct? And I think that's a different aspect. But there are some very capable companies who do some very outstanding work in India on some of the very complex, civil projects like hydropower construction in Himalayan range and things like that. But it's difficult for them to compete on civil projects. Yeah, I think, and India civil construction technology and ecosystem now is in a very advanced stage, because as I told you, 40 metro constructions we are doing,
that's
right?
true. That's true.
And some of those are happening at a world record speed, so I don't think
please.
it's very dependent now.
Yeah, on that, when I visited the Prabhadevi side, I was talking to one of the person there, and he was not very well educated, but he said, all my life, all my career, I've been working on metro projects. Once one metro gets over, I get hired right away in some other metro. There's so many projects all over India are happening that I don't need to look outside for anything else.
Yeah.
So projects and that.
No, now you don't mean the demand for architects, civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers is so high in India, you can't get them. The unfortunate part is that they all come and work for you guys here. Of course, you're serving the nation in a much more capable way, so we all appreciate that. But India talent requirements are very high now.
That's true.
Question. I think I'm riding on his question, which is, what kind of special security measures are there right now, both from electrical point of view, from Wi-Fi point of view, and terrorism point of view?
The operational security, not the safety and security during construction of the project, right? So I think there are two layers of security here. Yeah, one is the general security, which is access control, CCTV, face recognition, all of that, correct? No? So when a common man is trying to enter, he would pass through all the security layers as you would pass through in any high-risk area like airports and stuff like that. So all of that is there, right? Right from beginning, baggage scanners, face recognition systems, flap barriers, access card controls. You're being monitored throughout your journey and all of that, correct? No? And this is all centrally being monitored through CCTV as well as through the VPNs which are on the Cisco networks, correct? The Prime Minister and VIP area has another security layer, correct, which is very different than this and monitored very differently than this, correct, and also controlled very differently. When some of that even got done by them without we getting much involved in it, correct, And so one zone, you know, is for Prime Minister, correct? All 4 floors, correct? His media control at the bottom, and then his Prime Minister office there. Those offices and the perimeter I showed to you, correct? So those 4 layers, that entire is the PM zone, correct? PMO zone. It has its own different security layer, which resides on top of this. It means it can integrate with the normal security monitoring, or it can be isolated in the normal security situation. It also has an evacuation tunnel underneath, correct? So in case of emergencies, in Lok Sabha itself, you can within maybe 10-15 seconds, you can be in the tunnel and out, correct? You know? So that's how it is. Yeah, so that's kind of a physical evacuation is also there in the system planned.
It has a bomb shelter like thing.
It actually it's underneath the evacuation tunnel itself is underneath, and the refuge area is also.
Yeah, there is a bomb shelter. There is a bomb
a
shelter.
refuge area.
One can stay there.
One can.
Yeah.
Actually, because of seismic zone 5, the whole building is like explosion proof.
Okay.
Okay, so
Just to be on time, can we hold the questions?
Yes, okay, correct.
And
Yeah,
continue
let
with
him
the
finish, yeah.
yeah, I want to show the Indian art piece.
Yeah, that's the next piece, right?
So I told you about this, ceilings, correct? Yeah, high ceilings, and you can see the small people working there. You can imagine the expanse.
Yeah, now it puts in perspective how
Yeah.
big the dimensions are.
Okay, this is how this whole, Lok Sabha was constructed. This is the Rajya Sabha thing. This is that roof that I told you, which was being constructed for the Central Hall or the Constitution Hall. This is the construction time photograph. This is what is holding the structure of one of the roofs, Lok Sabha roof. Let us see. So this is, I told you, this was all 3D visualized on Revit platform, and then all pieces were brought and they were kind of bolted together. Yeah, the weight of this is 120 tons. This structure itself, which is to give a perspective, it's like 4 or 5 jet aircrafts, which are like hanging there holding it. Each aircraft is about 40 tons, right? So there are 5 aircraft weight kind of holding it. Yeah, so this is the marble flooring where we were working.
Pendulum.
Yeah, this is during the COVID. We had 3 COVIDs in this. First COVID, when we had got the project, we were all in the masks, you saw. We started construction. Then there was a Supreme Court case that why are you doing this and all of that. Okay? So it got delayed and we started in February. In May, June, we had this Delta, very ferocious COVID wave that came in. And we literally created a bio bubble that time. So we all lived inside, and we would work outside and go to the camp and go back to the side and go to the camp. We had oxygen beds at the side, we had doctors at side, we had everything. And I must remember here our group, Mr. Chandrasekharan, he said, nothing, whatever you need to do, you do. You are doing anyway so much for the country, for the COVID management. He said that whatever that you require, you must completely do it, right? So, huge stuff. We worked, actually our productivity was very high during COVID times because it was like a bio bubble, and all the workers stayed together.
It must be hard to manage all these people staying in bio bubble.
Prime Minister Modi, I'm telling you, his commitment, his alignment, his way of dealing with people, the way he would build people and get them committed, nobody wanted to go away, I'm telling you. They said, "Pahla ye karenge," correct? And when happened, they got so they all was in life here for me, I'm telling you. And the real king was our Mr. Modi. Real project manager, Mr. Modi. This is what I'm saying, this is when the puja was there, the first COVID. So that time, he himself was in a mask. R&T, Ratan Tata came. Chandrasekharan was also there. We were all in the mask that time, right? And then we had that ferocious way. Correct? This is what I said. He would come to talk to people. Correct? And I came here maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and I was like jet lagged. I told my daughter I'm jet lagged. This guy, in this photo, I think he came from US and he straight at the site. You know, they landed, he possibly changed clothes or whatever it is, and he was like, and we didn't know that he's coming to site. And he talks to people, he gets into them, he doesn't bother about his security and things like that. He would talk to them about, you know, what you're doing, what's your location, where you come from, all of that. You know. I mean, he was such a priming force that we had, you know, personally looking at it. This is when we installed that, you know, the lion cap there, yeah, national emblem there on top. So that's the time he was doing the puja and the photo that was taken there that day. This is when I was taking around him, correct? Yeah. So we four of us. And this is what I remember. This is when he really gave such good, minute instructions. Cannot believe this, you know, that such understanding that he has. So this is how he would meet. This is where we were talking to our people. So this is my group chairman. Correct. This is Ranjit who talked about that thing. This is where Chandra was addressing our team here. So that's the photograph here. This is the team that we had. Yeah. This is when this got completed, and this is the day of inauguration. He walked to the Gandhi statue, so that's nice. And this is the symbol, correct? Yeah, that he took, and that was established, correct? So that is at that time.
So you have a lot of slides on or some photos on art and culture, how it's incorporated.
Yeah, I'll bring those up now. That's something that you must know. So I told you that there is full of Indian art and culture. So as I said that, you know, this is one of the public entrances. And these are large, like Dwarpa, no? These are like large statues out of stone. So this is Shardul, correct? Now you will ask me what is Shardul. So Shardul actually is it comes from our, I think, you know, mythical books or whatever it is. And it's a combination of the lion and the tiger or something of that nature. But it's supposed to depict, you know, the Shaurya and Saundarya, correct? No? So it's supposed to be combined these two. So such elements have been brought here, which come from our, you know, old literature. So these are the public entrances that we have. So on the public entrances, on the north side, you have Hansa, you know, Rajhans ka Hansa. And that is put there because it talks about, you know, the purity of mind, correct? You know, the highest level of, what shall I say, spiritual attainment, correct? No? So representing power, self-realization and wisdom, correct? On the other entrance, public entrance, you have the Makar, correct? No? So diversity and peaceful existence. And I told you about Shardul, correct? No? Balance of strength and beauty, correct? So so now when you go there, correct? Now you have these public entrances, and at the outside the entrances you have such big statues, you know, which are of great relevance to our culture, correct? And they adorn the whole building, three faces like this, so beautiful, correct? The other main entrances. The other three, you know, I talked about the other three Mahadwaras, you know, the ceremonial entrances. So the Lok Sabha entrance, you got, this is a little inside, because they have a mandap asana, devacha entrance. So there is a large mandap and then you actually enter. So that's it, Dwarpal. So the keepers there are Gaj. Gaj, of course, is representing, we all know, is power, wisdom, wealth, correct? So that's what it talks about there, correct? And these are all inspired from some temples, huh? So it's not that they are like, you know. Then you have Garud. Garud is talking about prosperity and progress. So aspiration, prosperity, progress. And of course there's Ashwadvar, so where you have, you know, endurance, courage and dynamism or sense of commitment there, correct? So, so the construction is like this, that you got a porch at this, and as you enter the porch, then you have these two Gajas or two, you know, Garudas there, or two Ashwas there. And when you again go in, then you have this large dome-like thing, correct? And on both the walls, you got huge murals, huh? So brass murals. I'll talk about those also. So that's how this is. Then you have these murals there, right? So you have now, let's say, this is Chanakya, correct here, and this is Gandhiji, picking up salt here and now these are again, 26 meter tall and very wide walls of that, kind of a mandap kind of a thing. And you got these two bronze things. And this is now on the Rajya Sabha entrance where we had this Ashwadwar. And as Ashwa is like duty, resolve, sankalpa, commitment, right? And these two people are there. There's Chanakya who was for a resolve, for a sankalpa. And same thing Gandhiji. So those two, matching that philosophy, like Ashwadwar and the people who committed in our history past. So that comes there. Again, this is the natural sunlight that comes from the top. This is the door by which you enter into Rajya Sabha. So again, it's very difficult to capture here in this, but it's very beautiful there. Yeah. Same thing when you go to this Garuda Dwar, then you have this Ambedkar and Patel, correct? And you have this Dharma Chakra or Karma Chakra of Konark, Puri, correct? So that talks about it. As you enter the Gaja Dwar, which is the entrance to Lok Sabha, and Gaja being wisdom and Aishwarya and this thing. So here you have Nalanda. This one is the Nalanda word in the brass, and you have Gargi, correct? The Pandita Gargi,
Yes,
or
Gargi.
Vidushi Gargi, who's been adorned, Brahmavati. So her thing is here, correct? So fully embedding our Indian art, Indian culture and values here, correct? Yeah. Well, think about it. He puts, and these are all, knowing him, because worked with him, so knowing him, each and every piece has gone through his approval. Otherwise, it doesn't go through. I'm telling you, it doesn't go through. Correct? And then who thinks like this? You put Hansa there, which is जो अंतर्मनाचा प्रतीक प्रेरक आहे. अशी एक सुंदर मूर्ती ते ठेवा. This comes unless you are connected, it cannot come. Correct? Unless you are genuinely there, it cannot come. Correct? These are the art galleries. Correct? Shilpa Dirga. So this is all about शिल्प म्हणजे जे आपले शिलालेख आहेत किंवा ह्याचे कोरीव काम आहेत त्याचं सगळ्याचं कलेक्शन इथे आहे. These are those galleries, public entrance. When we go to that central piece, I told you there are 3 galleries. So one is there, Shilpa Dirga. The other one is the Sthapatya Dirga. So all this Taj Mahal and this Lal Mahal and all that Jaipur and all that. So those are all shown here. Yeah. So when you walk through this, you really feel great. It's you're walking the parliament, but you're also getting introduced to Indian culture, Indian art. Yeah, it's outstanding. Therefore, it's just not the building. It's like getting to know. And this is the Sangeet Dirga. So all musical instruments. Bismillah ji Sanai hai, Ravi Shankar ji Satar hai, everything is here. Into this, right? So all of these are here. So 3 galleries bring you to that central hall. Correct. This is that thing I told you. This is the table, correct, in that Constitution Hall. So here you have the original copies of the copies of the Constitution, paper copies, and this is a digital board on which you can swipe, and this is a digital board on which you can swipe. So you can see this. And behind this, you have this, how India is the mother of democracy. So there's windows which depict and explain this. So that's where we have some of these, in those windows behind, which demonstrate how India is the mother of the democracy. Then Eka wall work, Eka wall work.
Omkar work.
We have this Omkar
Omkar
work,
work. Omkar work.
complete, again full gold brass kind of stuff, and the whole wall is like this. Yeah? Whole wall is like this. Again, difficult to show me with that perspective here, but it's the best I can do. So entire thing goes like that, and looks so outstanding, beautiful. Okay, so you imagine you have a triangle, you have one wall like this. The other wall is a people's wall where people, art and culture, all of those people work comes. So you have, and the third one is that Constitution capsule, correct? So that you get this. So three sides, one is with Omkarwad, one is with these people, and the third one is that Constitution capsule.
So Vinayak, did most of India or various parts of India participate in these pieces?
I think different across India. First of all, everything is sourced from India. The wood came from Nagpur and MP area. As I told you, furniture got made in Navi Mumbai. The rugs came from Jaipur. The stone came from Jaipur. The carpets came from Uttar Pradesh, Mirzapur, and that area. The statues came from Bhubaneswar and some of the south, Karnataka area. So all across, I think almost all states have participated in this. Yeah. This is how it looks in the evening time. Correct? Yeah.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it looks very nice, and so these are those 13 this side, 13 this side, jalis, and then we have street lamps, and this is what is done now. And these colors now, lights so dynamic, you can change the colors, you can get different color combinations around it. Yeah.
It blends well with the old.
Yes, absolutely.
Very nice.
This is again an evening picture or a photograph taken there. Correct. So it's this is the aerial photo of the old and the new. How that looks. So this is the old building, of course. Yeah. Beautiful itself, by itself. This is the new building. Correct. This is the south block, north block here. This is Rashtrapati Bhavan. This is that Kartavya Path. This is the Vijay Chowk. Correct, if you know. This is the Ministry of Railway. This will get demolished now and new things will happen here. But this is the Kartavya Path. This is Vijay Chowk. Correct. This is the way you come inside. You come into both the buildings. This is drone photo, so it's not it's again not graphic, so but it's come out beautiful and nice now. So what it is.
It looks beautiful. Delhi is so green, and the picture is so nice.
Okay, so that's where we are. Yeah, thank you.